How you doing, sir? Well, just like what Femi said. Femi said Nigerian politicians are worse than these criminals we are seeing right here on the front page of the Sun.
For the suspected gun manufacturers being nabbed by the security officers, for me, based on the premises already established by Femi, there's nothing wrong in those young guys, of course, venturing into manufacturing. Yes, if the government of the day is responsible enough, if they are sensitive enough, what they should have done is to absorb these people and create, an enabling environment for them to strive. You see, gun business is a multi-billion-dollar business. Yes, that shows that there are, within our internal setting, there are intellectuals, there are scientists who have been over time neglected. Look at Nigeria pay billions of dollars to procure arms, ammunition in China, in Russia, in US. Think of the economic impact of this. If we were able to manufacture these ammunitions to combat Boko Haram, those millions will not go to United States, it will not go to Russia, it will not go to France. So this government is very clueless, they are very stupid. All of them. So, if they should prosecute these young, vibrant youths, it means they are senseless. What about people, politicians that have looted this country to zero? What justice, as you said, what justice will be done to them? So, what does justice really mean in this country? That people who, of course, have no source of livelihood, but they are technically inclined. If not that, of course, they may be using it for crime as, alleged. But it is a welcome development. What you do, you don't destroy those potentials. You tap them and rechannel this energy, enormous energy, towards building a viable economy where we can let it be that America will come and, procure arms. That is how America developed. And that's why we are still experiencing drain brain within African territory. The Western world, we want to give our people an enabling environment and attract them so that they can tap their intellectual capability in order to advance their country. Look at Philip Emeagwali, was an inventor of internet. He's from Anambra State. He's a Biafran. Let me not say Nigeria, because Nigeria has no value for intellectual, property, capability. They only celebrate few politicians who, of course, has looted us to this point of bankruptcy. We keep on borrowing. Let those $500 million be channeled to technology. You see that most youths will have an opportunity to develop and to add to the national GDP.
All right, quickly, let's move down to another story here. We are broke. The governors are lamenting due to the raging pandemic. Some governors in Nigeria have come out to the government openly. They're telling the government to release funds for them.
It is quite funny for the so-called governors to make such a clamor that we are broke. A whole state governors making such assertion is quite unfortunate. Where you have within your enclave so many natural resources and human capital, you are still depending on what comes from the federal, from the Abuja, the allocations here on monthly basis. You see, in order to develop, this means we are not making use of our senses. This is making Nigeria more lazy and stupid. Imagine a governor of Lagos State saying that they are broke without the teaming, the large population and other investments. They can't think inward. Look at why Nigeria should restructure. The North has the greatest share of the allocation on monthly basis, and they are parasitic in nature. They claim to have the largest land mass, the largest population, but very foolish. You see, Nigerian sharing formula should not be based on number of local governments. It should be based on the productivity, how much you are able to earn. Then you can't be walking like an elephant. At the end of the day, you eat like an ant. 90% of Nigerian revenue comes from the south, and now about 90 or less than 10 come from the north, the entire northern region. And at the end of the month, they cut out, away with the largest, the giant, share of those populations, claiming that they have the largest number of local governments. You see, these are injustices that ought to be addressed. These are fundamental issues begging for, answers. How can we continue to that? Imagine Kano State, Zamfara, that is, not productive. Zamfara that does not contribute to the national grid, we go home with something better than even Port Harcourt and other southern states. How long will this continue? That's why the northern elite will not allow restructuring to take place. Why? Because they are taking undue advantage of the South. The South produces 90% of the revenue, being used to run this country. Look at how the South have been neglected over the years. And the North is exploiting the North, and they will not want to develop. Look at the Boko Haram saga. Was created by the northern elites, and now they are using the resources from the south to sponsor Boko Haram, to create a window whereby they will continue to recruit and loot Nigeria to stupor. All these things are things that we need to readdress. If not so, every region should pass. That is my position, because this country is no longer working. How could a whole government saying they are broke? This is the indices, and that is quite unfortunate. If they are broke, that still receiving their salaries, I myself am not saying it that anybody should pity me, but these are the realities. Then what becomes of me? And the children and every other people around who have no source of, whose source of livelihood have been, of course, dislodged. Right. So, the government should bring their head in shame for crying, being broke at this point.
You see, when you're talking of crime rates soaring high among the youth, who will you blame? Who will you blame? They say that an idle man is a devil workshop. When you have an irresponsible government, right from onset, I'm not saying this particular government alone, you have an irresponsible government right from the democratic, the time we switch onto them, even from the military era. Now, these are youths that have been neglected for so long. These are youths that have been left on their own to fend for themselves, to cater for their well-being. These are youths that have missed direction, proper direction of governance. These are youths that they now find themselves at the mercy of the politician anytime there's an election. Now, to start with, how did they get these harms? How did they get? I don't believe an hungry man can just wake up one day that he wants to possess an ammunition. How did they get it? Kudos, let me just even say, kudos to the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State. I saw the clip on TV yesterday. He's really doing a thorough job. But that job is still not the best enough. Who are the supplier of these guns? How are these guns entering the nations, the borders of this country? We all know, towards the election like this, there is always saturated of guns in the country. Now, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Now you are picking up all this street urchin with guns now, with ammunition. How about the people, the politicians? Is it all of them that have license to gun? Why are they bringing in this gun? I mean, to distribute to their supporters, to their hatchet guys. I call them hatchet guys, not ordinary thug. Because you might be a thug and you may not, you can just harass people. And why I call them hatchet men now, they send them on, Syria, mission, killing, missions. So, the way you are arresting these people to invite, if you cannot arrest all those politicians, invite them. I'm sure by the time the investigation started on how these guys possess this ammunition, names will be dropped among the politicians. We all know what is going on. Towards the election, they give them gun. After election, to retrieve the gun will be problem. And this one now will now be left alone as if they've been abandoned. They will now be using the gun to fend for themselves. Nobody supports crime, but what's the root? What's the basic root of the crime? Let us dig down to the root of the crime. This guy you are giving gun to, they are hungry. The 1 naira, the 13,000 you give them during the election are seized. And nothing to, they've narrowed their mind towards hungry for politicians. And, it's a very complex thing. And insecurity in Nigeria will still continue until we tackle the fundamental issues, the root of this, create employment. I mean,
empower
separate hungry from agenda politics. And we youth likewise have been saying this. You can see what is going on now. You too silent, you keep collecting 1 naira, as an hungry man in front of these politicians. Look at what is happening now. No job, they ended up carrying arms to disturb their fellow non-privileged, people. Because I don't think they are using that gun to attack the people that turn them to this nuisance, non-entity. Even if they can be using the gun to face their masters, they should even probe the source of all these guns. They should probe it. They should probe it. That's the Commissioner of Police should probe how they get all these guns in their hand.
When Nigeria was good, when Nigeria landmarks was full of green, the land was green then, so fertile. Business was moving. The economy is so favorable to everybody. We used to sing it even in school. Me, I like my country. I love our land and people. Everything he did for Nigeria, make we join hand and make Nigeria better.
Now, is Nigeria now better or worse? Is Nigeria better now or worse?
Thank you so much. That's Michael. I was trying to remember the good olden days. Now Nigeria is not better at all. Nigeria is worsening and worsening. Every minute that goes, every second that goes, the country is going backward, back to 50 years back. I'm telling you, everything in Nigeria has scattered. Michael, nothing has been favorable, nothing has been friendly to us again. Look at the governors, backing, crying, we are broke. Which governor is broke? Who are the governors that are broken? Not broke, they are broken into pieces.
The states are broke.
The states are broke because of the bad managers, the governors, the COS. They are the chief security officers of the states. They are the presiding officers of the states. They are the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the states. They are bad managers. Governors in Nigeria, you are not broken. You are all thieves. What about the security votes that come into the states every month? Is it not over 1 billion? It's getting to billions, Davidson. Before it was 200 million, but now, do you know that all these governors in Nigeria instigate crisis within their state to earn more money from federal government? Look at northern Nigeria. The governors in northern Nigeria instigate insecurity in the northern states so that more funds will be attracted from federal government. Their security, state security vote now in northern states are running several billion, some are 10 billion, 5 billion every month, because they instigate such insecurity by themselves, not from the so-called insurgency. Yes, they cause the trouble by themselves so that federal government will give them more money.
Now they need this money to pay their workers. They need this money to fight the virus that is raging or ravaging the lives of the citizens. Now, don't you think the federal government should release these funds?
Michael, you are being logical and objective. Federal government knows what's up, that insurgency in the north is not just naturally, there. She understand. They are not there naturally. They are man-made. Insurgency in the north mostly are caused by the governors in the north there. Borno state government, let me tell you, Borno, only 2 governments are free. One is relatively safe. One is totally safe. The rest 23 local governments are occupied by insurgency. Imagine. They mark it red. I studied it. Green and the black. Black is relatively safe. Green, safe. Safety. You understand? The rest, red. Danger. My brother Mike. The governor of Borno State has question to answer. The chief of general army staff, Brutai, has question to answer.
What of northern leaders?
Northern leaders, all they have question to answer. The emirs, the Emirates, everywhere.
The Muslim clerics.
I'm telling you, the clerics, they have question to answer. These people want to Islamize the entire north, which is why insurgency has not, has just resisted everything to make sure they are there. I mean the Boko Haram insurgents. The insurgents resisted us. Christians, we can't fight. We always wait for God to come down and fight for us. That's why they kill Christian clerics. They kill them, they died. Nobody will fight. Nobody will resist. No fight. Wait. God Almighty will come down and fight for you. Can Christian Association of Nigeria, PFN, President, President, all of them, they are waiting for our God to step down. They don't want to use their brain. They don't want to use diplomacy. They don't even want to invite the international communities to come and fight for Christians in Nigeria. Anytime they cut our chairmen, our pastors, our reverend fathers, their head, anytime they decap them or amputate them, you understand, or decapitate them, they pray, oh God, my Father, come down and fight for us. Let me tell you, paying of salary to civil servants in the states, there are a much fund to do that. There is enough fund to pay civil servants.
But they say they are broke.
My brother, no. Mike, let us enumerate this issue. Let us narrate this issue one by one.
Of course, some of their internally generated revenues are
Thank you so. No, Mike, don't tell me that. Lagos State government has money.
I'm not talking about Lagos State.
Okay, Lagos State without exclusion. Other states. Okay, let me talk about Kano State. Kano State is number 2 biggest state in Nigeria. Kano State is following Lagos. When you talk about internally generated revenue, Kano State has enough facilities, industries, companies, human beings, jobs, you understand, to pay taxes to that state. And they are paying enough money to Kano State government. See, Kano State, they are asking you for money. See, Kano State, they are telling you that 1,000 were, contracted the coronavirus this time. 2,000 died of coronavirus. Michael, let me tell you, Kano State has enough fund. They generate enough fund every month to pay their workers. But this time around, reverse is the case. Ogun State has enough to pay their workers. River State income. What about Bayelsa? What about all those Niger Delta states? Are they not siphoning NDDC? Embezzlement of embezzlement has ridiculed that institution, NDDC.
They shouldn't depend on federal government for funds.
They shouldn't. These governors are thieves. State governors, you are all thieves. Your over-dependence on federal government to, pay salaries has so, over the time and time be detected. It has been detected. We know you are being, what I call you, you are being crafty. You are just as subtle as snake. You are making your money. You have enough money. You are trying to deceive federal government to give you more money for payment of salaries. It is finished. We can't believe you anymore.
All those our army that used to carry stick, waka for Aso Rock, Egbeni, all die na die. I go tell una wetin una never do. We make Nigeria youth, our mind never happy. Oga, Buhari is not performing. Buhari is not doing anything in this country, not secure the life of the people. See, let me tell you, in Mali, what happened in Mali that made Buhari to leave is when Buhari is going to Mali, we have most at that time. Because what made him to went to Mali is worse than Nigeria own is worse than what is happening in Mali. In Mali, why the people are fighting the present president is because they say if you are a governor, you suppose not have any political office again. If you are a governor or any minister. But Nigeria, if you are not a governor, you cannot appoint as a minister. You cannot go for a senator. And you tell me that the country is better. And all those our big army now, what we get. Look at the people that arrested this man yesterday. 25 years, 25 years, 26 years. Where are those our generals we have that cannot come out and fight the president and say let the president do what? Let the president, if he cannot perform, Oga resign and let the country move forward. This is what I want to say to them this morning, Oga. If you know if you do, look at the Mali president, they arrest him. Oga, he had contact, I had to resign. For the governor saying that maybe they are broke in the nation, Oga, they can, God when they want to grow, they'll break into pieces. Because now we go use coffee, pack all of them food. Because they are very wicked. Forget about politics. Forget about political party. Let us leave political party aside. Any governor that don't have the masses in hand, you are a wicked governor. And now you are crying upon the money. You will be receiving the revenue in the state. The people are not seeing it. Federal government and the money they give to the state, people are not seeing it. Federal give money before, forget about before. Since before everything is moving well, but when it comes to this time, all of you are complaining, we are broke. Is it the state that broke? I be the governor. The money you people have been stealing, that's all of them used to wear agbada. The money you people used to steal, massive money. Okay, you people must return it one day. God will fight for the masses. And if you people don't return it, Koro, I don't talk about before, it will carry all of them one by one, it never starts them.
Good morning, Mr. Mike. Matthew is the name. It's unfortunate that the governors are saying that broke and yearning for bailout. You see, this best explains why we should have eggheads in our state governors. Because a situation where you as a sitting governor with all the enormous resources at your disposal, you cannot invest, you cannot look outside, you cannot think outside the box. The only thing you are good at is waiting for federal allocation. It becomes a monthly ritual. At the end of the month, everybody go to Abuja through the accountant general of the state, they share from the national cake. It's unfortunate. Because I tell you that, Mr. Mike, there is no state in Nigeria that is not endowed with natural resources. There is no state in Nigeria that if they want to harness the natural resources that is in that state, that cannot sustain that state. Look at the situation where now up to today, up to now, Nigeria lives majorly on crude. And if anything that happens to crude, it will automatically have an economic crisis. From the look of things, this is not taken as a result of the impact of this COVID-19, we are likely going into a recession. And this is a country that has every potential to develop, that have so many areas where you can harness and the economy will be sustainable. Before crude oil became the mainstay of Nigerian economy was thriving on agriculture. Go and verify. The best wine in anywhere in the world is from Israel. They leverage on agriculture and they build the economy. The economy is very okay. So why is it that state governors, there are so many states where their states have so much arable land, they are not putting it to good use. All they are good at is going to Abuja to collect monthly allocation. And if we continue like this, and that best explain why states do not always go against devolution of power. That best explain why states, especially northern states, always go against true federalism. That best explain why they always reject regional governments, because they are not viable. Not that they are not viable in itself, the way God created each and every structure of this country, every state is viable. But the issue is that the people who are managing the affairs of these states do not have wherewithal to harness God-given potentials to turn it to money, to translate into money. It is on record that Kaduna also has more natural resources than any other state in Nigeria. Is it being used? Uranium that is used to enrich atomic bomb, we have the deposit in Nigeria. Uranium can be used to generate electricity. It's a simple technology. If you enrich uranium and remove the impurity up to 95% and you coat it with lead, it becomes atomic bomb. You put it explosive, something that can explode it. Now, the same uranium, if you enrich it, you remove impurity just 5%, it can be used to generate electricity. Why am I saying this? I'm saying because the same uranium that the best of nations are using to generate electricity, we have it here and it's lying fallow, we are not utilizing it.
Now let me cut you. Let me pause you there. There was a move by the president on local government autonomy. Now, why do you think this hasn't, taken effect?
The local government autonomy did not take effect by plan of Mr. President because Mr. President was confronted by a monster. The monster is the Governors Forum. Because the Governors Forum, all the governors are major beneficiaries of the actual amount that is supposed to accrue to local government from federation accounts. And on this, I think all the governors, irrespective of the party, they are all culpable. I challenge any governor that says he's not culpable to prove to Nigerians that he's not dipping hand into local government funds. I have not seen any government that can raise his head above water level to say, yes, the money that accrues to my local government in my state, and not reappropriating it in my state. That best explains why we are not seeing development in the grassroots. Which is supposed to be the government, the lowest, the government that is closer to the people.
That is it.
And I encourage Mr. President to show that with power, to confront those governors and make local government autonomous. Because until you break that hegemony, we are likely not going to see any development at that level. And the governors will use every instrument at their disposal to frustrate the effort of local government being autonomous. Because that autonomy will deprive them of all the resources they have been dipping hand into. So for me, Mr. President should show that with power to make sure he break local government away from that bondage.
All right,
because for me it's a bondage.
All right, thank you so much.
Based on the question being asked, you see, when you said you are broke, actually everybody knows that in this pandemic situation, the affairs of the government looking in the one side is going to be affected most. That is the most of the states that only depending on the allocations being given by the federal government. But if the state that is economically viable and viable, you can see the light of Seyi Makinde's, Wike's, and Obaseki. They are doing well because they are economists. Even the Lagos State, but the Lagos State is based on the past, the record, and it still rests on the performance. But let's look at the economic as a whole. The state governments, they need to diversify, especially most of the northern states. I see no reason why they cannot survive on this period, because if you can take a farmer to the next level, which is mechanical farming, than all these old and cutlasses stuff, you can go a long way in producing food for masses, especially when the food scarcity is around the country. You can see the inflation rate of the foods and other stuff in the nations. It's because the government are not looking in the right direction to fix out from this problem. That is why they are now lamenting. The only thing they know is to siphon money, to do a diversified program that can bring more money. They do not know anything because they are not ready to serve people. That is why they are clamoring. They are broke, they don't want to pay salary. The salary they are even paying, they are not 30,000 minimum wage, which is not allowed. But because we have a flawless federal government, that is why this thing is still parading themselves. But we are advising all those governors to look into agriculture or industrial set of booming. This is the only way out. Unemployment rate is growing righteously every day, and we need to do something. And that is why we are giving kudos to Governor Obaseki in Edo. From 21% of unemployment, he reduced it to 19%. Before you know it, if they allow him, if the federal government doesn't use the mighty, and I know the Edos will not allow that. They are not Lagosians that is fearing. They will insist this imposition. People's vote must count, and I can trust you. I can trust Edo people. They are not relent on their efforts. They see the performance governors and they want the better things. They want it to continue. Nobody that is putting on jackets, deceiving people, going to Aso Rock and be meeting president, telling them that you bring army and do anything to harass people. Nobody will allow that in Edo, I can assure you.
Thanks so much for joining us on today's edition of Vice Fingers at News Times. Make sure you join us next time on the same channel. Michael Adeglesi remains my name. Behind the camera, Festus Olabukumi. You can subscribe to our sister channel, 50B Plus. That's another channel, 50B Plus. You can join us on our social media and do displayed on the screen. Michael Adeglesi on Facebook and on Instagram, Adeglesi Michael. Bye, everyone.